My name is Vasily Pronin. I'm representing Seven Stones Indonesia, which is a business consultancy firm operating in Indonesia since the last 6 years. We are helping foreign investors to get to Indonesian market and to get company registration, visas, other services. I have a number of people here from my team. Later, if you have any questions related to legal aspects of doing your business in Indonesia, feel free to come and speak to me and to my team as well. We have so many people in black uniform today, but somehow you figure out. Okay, and a lot of people coming to us, especially recently, asking about blockchain, how to start blockchain company or how to do crypto company and how to do startup business in Indonesia. And we see our mission is to share with people our knowledge and to share information. We don't think that we need to charge every time for asking us these questions. So we decided, let's have events where we share our knowledge and we share information about how to do it. Later on, if anyone wants to have a copy of this presentation, feel free to get in touch with us and we'll send that to you. It's quite detailed, and that's about our part. Moving forward, I want to say big thank you for co-participants, for people who joined us during this event, and Faye from Kumpul, Arvin from Favors, David from Republic Rupiah, and big thank you to our host, Antti and Tokocrypto, and T-Hub by Tokocrypto. And I think that's all from our side. I'm actually handing over mic to our host, who will continue this and who will be a moderator for this panel discussion on this. And yeah, let's rock and roll. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Vasily. I also want to say thank you for Seven Stones and every party that make this event happen. Hello everyone, my name is Antti. I'm the community manager of Tokocrypto and T-Hub. So actually I want to share a little bit about the background of this event. So I've known Seven Stones for quite a while. A lot of my friends are working in Seven Stones as an employee. I've also helped some of my friends set up their companies in Seven Stones. Actually, so I know they're legit and they're reliable, so that's why I agreed to do this event with them. Yeah, we talked that Vasily told me that there are a lot of barriers for people, not only foreigners but also locals, to open a company in Indonesia because they don't know how is the right way to do it. Sometimes they don't even intend to do something wrong because the information is not circulated properly. So yeah, that's why we decided to do this event to at least share knowledge of what we know so far and also get that feedback from all of you. What are your challenges and how is it so far if you already tried to open a company, especially in tech or blockchain? We just make it blockchain because it's T-Hub. Yeah, so this is a event to share about it. So the event is quite simple. There's going to be a presentation first from Seven Stones about the legal aspect of starting blockchain and IT startup business in Indonesia. And after that, there's going to be a panel discussion with the experts. As mentioned before, there's Faye from Kumpul, we have Arvin from Favors, we have David from Republic Rupiah. That's going to share about how they set up their companies, the pros and cons of starting business in Indonesia, especially in Bali. And I'm going to be moderating the panel as well. Okay, are you excited? Are you ready? Can I hear you? Are you ready? Yeah. I know it's Saturday morning. I actually appreciate. I expect an empty room actually because you guys party yesterday. I know, but thank you for making your time to come here. Okay, so before I start, maybe I want to ask one of the panelists, maybe I don't know if you want to answer. So the question is all of you set up a business entity, right, in Indonesia, or maybe anyone that want to share that if you have encountered this problem before, what is your experience or challenges in opening entity in Indonesia so far? Anyone want to share? What are from your own experience? Both is okay.
I think I only ever set up an Indonesian company because I'm Indonesian. I think yes, there are some forms to fill, and normally we just contact the notary to set it up. But one of the major confusions are actually to determine the role of businesses. We call it KBLI. It used to be SIUP. You know, we love abbreviations, right? I don't even get me started. Like, what is that? I don't know what is.
Surat izin usaha
Permanen, right? Yeah. So they changed the rules. Like our government changed the rules as they wish. So I think we need to be updated about things, because maybe things that was valid 6 months ago is not valid now or last year. And KBLI is actually the role that your company can execute in Indonesia, and you can have multiple, but you need to have probably the main one. So these are the things that can be quite confusing. So normally when we want to submit a tender and then we want to do some work, and then they're gonna check the KBLI, and then if it's not there, you need to update it first. And updating it sometimes can be as expensive as creating a new company.
Thank you for sharing, Faye. Want to share something?
Yes, so since I'm a community manager and not really the CEO or the COO, I can only speak of what they have told me. But one of the main things that they've been frustrated about is the actual process of the registration. Like when you finally do get through all of the regulations and everything checks out, it's still going to take a long while to actually get your company's name registered, you know, governmentally legalized kind of thing. So yeah, the time, it takes a long time.
A lot of money. A lot of money. A lot of money. Okay, so yep. To answer, maybe to start before we get to the panel discussion, I'm gonna invite the legal team from Seven Stones. Let's give applause for Wira. Hi Wira, how are you?
Hello.
So you're gonna enlighten us, huh?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna do a presentation first about the current situation and how is it to open blockchain or IT business, or basically any business, and we're gonna open a Q&A session later. So if you have any questions, feel free to bombard it to Wira later. Okay, Wira, time and stage is yours. Move this forward.
Okay. So first, my name is Wira. I'm made in Bali. I'm from Bali. I'm working for Seven Stones Indonesia. It's I can say the best ever I work in my life. The best environmental also, and then we have best people. And yeah, that's an introduction. So first, as you know, maybe if you read the newsletter or maybe in the media, you see from CNBC, which is on 2030 we believe that our economy will be grow. We target this 4.5 thousand trillion, and then also we can see that a lot of people they try to use something like online or make everything become digital. Maybe you can see something like marketplace and also website. Everything will be easier with digital. Sorry. And also our government already give positive impact for this kind of digitalization, which is one of it. We call it Project Portamento, which is this is one of the project. Maybe all of you know about this already. To protect art of the artist, for example, for music, teacher, and also anything about this is related to intellectual property. And also maybe if you heard about one of project from our government is about the Wonder First Indonesia, which is this kind of metaverse for to show our tourism in Indonesia, which is a project from our Ministry of Tourism. And also you can see from this diagram about the population of people. We can see that about 34% of people they already know about anything digital, something like marketplace and the other thing. And also maybe everybody already heard about the omnibus law, which is this omnibus law was legalized by our government on 2020. And I can say this regulation is amazing. This regulation will change a lot of things. About environmental, and then also how you can set up business in Indonesia, and also anything make easier, including also about the empower. And also one of the regulation follow after this is we call it about the OSS, which is there's one system we call it OSS, and since 2021, government already update the system become we call it RBA or risk basis. Okay, risk basis activity, which is all of the activity. Now the categories based on like low, medium high, and high risk, which is for that kind of type, they will require for some additional process, except for the low and medium low. Most of low and medium low, you can get everything more easy. Yeah, this is one of the impact from the omnibus law. This is like screen view of the RBA system, which is I can say more. I mean, the system is more easy than before. Why? Because you can check more detail about the this business categories as low or maybe high risk. And also, government already provide about what kind of things that you need to be done to fulfill the requirement or to activate your license. And also, in here, for your information, government also divided become 4 type of business scale. First is about micro. Micro is start from I can say 1 million until 1 billion, categorized as a micro, and then above than 1 billion until 5 billion, categorized as small, and then also from more than 5 billion until 10 billion, categorized as medium, and then above than 10 billion, categorized as big scale investment, which is for foreign investment company or PMA, categorized as a big scale of investment, which is everything can be checked in this system. Yeah, if you interested to learn more about this, you can reach us. Yeah.
So there's no category for startup, right? Startup with non-Indonesian co-founders is directly classified as foreign-owned company (PMA) and directly put in the big scale of investment.
Yes,
correct?
correct.
And in the form, there's still this information such as where is your company factory located?
Yes, correct.
Even though we are actually doing a digital startup
Yeah.
for farmers or for whatever, for education, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As maybe for this one, I will explain in the next slide.
Okay.
Because we have some slide about this. So the requirement about I already explained about this, which is government already categorized as a few type of risk of business, which is big categories as a 4 risk category. And also in this side also you can check from this information. You can check maybe for example you want to make business and then you already have the business location. You can check also is the location open for your business or not, because if not, government will never issue your license. Okay, now we continue about the regulation regarding to blockchain. Sorry, I need to open. So based on my research, I found there are 3 type of business classification, or we call it KBLI, that are related to blockchain. Maybe I will read. One is 62014, which is this is related to blockchain development, and this activity categorized as a medium low. And even for foreign investment company, also categorized as a medium low, which is you can see this, the requirement in here. So you need to fulfill standard blockchain technology development activity, and then also submit blockchain technology planning and roadmap to the Ministry of Communication and Information. And also you need to report annually to ministry about your project. And also even you have any change in your blockchain plan or your business plan, you have to report also to government. And also, you need to put a note also, if you want to do this kind of things, you need to have at least one people or one staff or one person that certified by our government about the Indonesian National Work Competence for the Information and Communication category for programming activity, and or certification in information security and personal data protection, which is you need to have one of it inside of your company and need to be certified by government. And also the another code 62015. This is about the artificial programming activity, which is this is categorized as medium low, and also 62024. This is regarding to consultation and IoT development, which is all of these categories as a medium low. And also maybe we can jump to another topic, is about the marketplace, how you can open marketplace in Indonesia, which is there are one code that number 62012, categories as medium high risk category. This is for e-commerce, which is you can see in here. On the requirement, maybe I will explain later. If you have any question, you can please ask. And also for opening startup company, there are one KBLI code 58200, which is categorized as a medium high risk. And then in here, most of the I can say not most, but some of the business activity related to IT now government start to concern about this, because maybe if you heard before about PayPal and also some other website that was get blocked by government because they not registered yet in the system, which is there are some new regulation about it. Otherwise, and also if you have website or maybe any kind of e-commerce, you need to register to government also, because now they concerned about the security of the data. And also, I think all of you already know about this. What is the difference between blockchain and crypto trading company? Which is crypto trading company is a platform to provide the market where you can buy and also sell your crypto. One of the sample is Tokocrypto in here. So, and also, what is blockchain? Basically, blockchain is a company that functions only as a network and technology provider and not selling any physical or digital asset. And also, for your information, in Indonesia, target of our government is to make crypto or any kind of like blockchain only for asset, not as payment. This is need to be because maybe a lot of people say, oh, we can do payment by crypto, but you can do it, but is it legal or not? That's the main question that you need to remember. Okay, current situation with new crypto asset, basically any kind of thing about crypto is regulated by we call it Bapepti. Bapepti is one of the government section focus on the asset. For example, for maybe share stock and also forex and crypto handled by Bapepti. And also, how is current situation with crypto trading companies? So maybe if you heard, I think the news about last week or 2 weeks ago, government was closed the chance to make a new crypto market, because based on letter number 208 Bapepti SA 08 2022, then the government will no longer issue new license for crypto market. I don't know until when. So basically that's all from me. If you have any question, then feel free to ask.
Thank you, Ra, for the presentation. Maybe we can open Q&A session first. Any of you have questions? Was it like over too clear, or if you, any questions really? Yeah, okay. Can you help me, Adrian? Thank you.
Selamat pagi. Thank you for the presentation. I'm not sure what my question is because I need to rewind back to the slide about the blockchain company. Okay. Oh, yeah. Forward one. One more. Yeah. So, blockchain company is a company that functions only as a network and technology provider, not selling any physical or digital assets. Okay. But can the company have transactions within the blockchain, as a platform that they're exchanging assets?
Okay. So, like I said to you before, I can say if you want to make any kind of transaction in Indonesia with blockchain or crypto, I can say at the moment it's illegal because our target of our government to make blockchain only for asset, not as a transaction payment. And also, basically that's the answer. If you want to make a payment by crypto or blockchain, you can do it, but is it legal or not? So at the moment, I cannot say no.
If I can add from my side and help Vera with this clarification, basically, so how it's organized, it's usually like you do one transaction on blockchain, and then you need to back up with another documents. Preferably, if it's real estate, then they need to be notarized. Basically, it's like cash going from one hand to another, which needs to back up your transaction. That's number one thing. Another thing, which is a lot of this crypto thing for Indonesian government is very new, and even the omnibus law is very new. So they didn't regulate many things yet. And for example, even the issuance of new assets in new crypto coins or whatever, if you don't plan to trade them on Indonesian exchanges, if you make like your coin and you want to trade it in somewhere, there is nothing describing this process, basically. And if they don't say you cannot, means you can. Technically, you can. Just be aware that if you want to be engaged with Indonesian partners, doing this or promote your coins or your digital assets in Indonesia, so then you get under the regulation, which was, I think, one slide next, then you come under that. But if your company is here and it's doing probably software or blockchain development, but like doing the operation with coins happening in another country, there is nothing saying about this. So far you are good to go.
Right. So as long as it's not obvious that it's payment, for example, we can have an agreement where we exchange like barter. So we have an agreement where I give you some digital assets and you give me some physical assets, and we don't call it payment. We call it an agreement or a barter, or my gift to you, your gift to me. Would that get around the problem?
To some extent, depending on what you're exchanging. If you're exchanging property, for example, so there is like the regulations regarding to the property, they're quite strict. So then, because there will be tax application, to that. So then you need to have another agreement. If you're exchanging something else which is not coming under the existing regulation, you're probably good to go.
Okay, so still a lot of gray areas or undefined areas.
Like last week, I was helping one of my clients. Actually, one of my clients have all of the money in the crypto, and also they want to purchase property in Bali. So the solution is maybe you can come to Tokocrypto, and then Tokocrypto ini WD langsung. You can transfer your asset to rupiah. But inside of the agreement, you have to declare everything in rupiah. No matter what you deal, but you need to describe everything in rupiah. Why? Because like Vasily said, it will impact to the tax also. Because government or tax department, they don't care about the other thing. They just care about the rupiah.
Right. Okay. Last question. So the omnibus bill, is that already implemented? Is it, part of the regulation now, or is it just a temporary experiment?
Sorry, you mean omnibus?
Yeah, omnibus.
I can say most of the regulation that stipulated in the omnibus law already implemented. One of the sample is about the empower. Which is like previously, if you want to have an employee and by contract basis yearly, you can do it for maximum until 3 years, and then after that you can put them as a permanent employee. But with this omnibus law, they changed the regulation, which is previously 3 years. Now you can do it by until 5 years. That's one of the sample, and then the other sample about the RBA system, which is that's one of the implementation for the omnibus law. A lot of regulation, system already follow the omnibus law, but I can say in this situation, government is not ready yet for everything.
Maybe put it this way: it's not enough to make a law. You need to make an instruction how to use it. And so they created a set of laws which replace it. So previously, the Indonesian legal system inherited a lot of Dutch, right? And then they started adding few things from Australia, Singapore, so many consultants. So the laws, they started controverting to each other. So they basically, one is saying one A, another one is saying B, both law. So what Jokowi, our president, he did, he just canceled everything what was related to the business before, and they created a new set of laws, but they didn't create instruction, because creating law is not enough. If there is no instruction how to apply it, then they don't know how to use it. So it's probably like only 30% ready for implementation, and the rest coming, changing. Even in our SS system, sometimes for a certain business activity, we see 1 month you see one regulation, and then next month you open because you have new client coming, and then it's already changed.
Yep.
So it's ongoing process. So welcome to the emerging economy. It's developing and it's changing all the time.
Cool. Thank you.
Hopefully we answer.
Yeah. Thank you, Seven Stones, for keeping up to date and also explaining it very simply, because it's really hard to find, a notary or a company setup agent that's up to date. Like majority of the ones that I've dealt with, and I think people in this room can relate to, most of them are out of date and they can't explain things, clearly. So thank you guys for doing a good job.
Thank you. Our pleasure.
How to choose the code and also to set up, we are happy to share.
Bagus.
Thank you, Adrian.
Thank you, Adrian.
Do we have any more questions, maybe? Any questions? No? Oh, good? Okay, if there's no more question, we're gonna open the panel discussion. Can my team help with the chair, please?
Yeah, and thank you, Vera, once again from.
And thank you. Give applause again for Vera. Thank you very much for enlightening us. They're gonna be. Please stand by if there's any questions that I cannot answer. Okay. So before, you already heard the theory about the current situation. Now we can hear the experiences of the people who already experienced it firsthand about setting up an entity in Indonesia. I will call our panelists for today. The first one is my dear Faye Wongso from Kumpul. Please come forward. Also David Setiawan from Republik Rupiah. Go ahead. And then last but not least, Arwin Levin from Favors. Please. Okay. Thank you very much for joining us today, this Saturday, to share about your experiences in setting up business in Indonesia, especially in IT and blockchain. maybe so three of them come from different backgrounds, has different experiences in their own industry. Before we got started, I think it's good to for you to introduce yourself a little bit, like who you are, what business that you do, and maybe just that, who you are and what you're doing, please.
Thank you, Auntie. First of all, I'm loving this panel because you're the only man. Normally it's five us. Normally it's the other way around, right? So good job. So I'm Faye. So I'm actually here just to give some insights, probably according to Auntie, about startups and then how to set up businesses. Kumpul.id is the largest ecosystem enabler in Indonesia. I'm also the president of Co-working Indonesia. So we work with almost 120 hubs in 40 cities through entrepreneurial programs, so incubator, accelerator, and actually after this, I'm gonna head up to BeWork in Canggu. We also have a program collaborating with Bali Investment Club to encourage Indonesian startups, focusing in impact to get angel investment, with like the angel network in Indonesia. So not just Bali, but then also Jakarta. So we do it like every 2 months in Bali, and then after that in Jakarta. So throughout like all the programs and the community, we want to be able to equalize and provide access. Everyone who becomes entrepreneurs, who wants to give solutions, who wants to start a business, what are the roadmap, how can they plug into the right ecosystem to make themselves be successful easier, in a sense, right? So not too much about blockchain and the Web3 businesses. I think the two other panelists can actually provide that insights. So it's more about the community entrepreneurship ecosystem in Indonesia from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Faye.
So I'm David Setiawan, and I am with Republic Rupiah. And so what we do is that we educate people. There are a lot of information out there, and Indonesian isn't our actual native language, and there are many Indonesians who aren't actually willing to learn English. And so what I did was that I was actually working out in Australia prior to founding Republic Rupiah, and then that's where I learned my English, and that's where I got all of the networking and connections as well. And as soon as I came back home to Indonesia, I feel like there are a lot of opportunities that are missed by the Indonesian people. And so we wanted to provide all of the accurate information. We want to educate people on what crypto is and what blockchain is. And that's what we do across all of the social media platform that we have in Republic Rupiah.
Thank you, David. I'm a big fan of what you're doing.
So my name is Arwen Levin. I'm from Favors, and what Favors does is basically we help people build and make their events, because as we all know that making events is usually restricted for those who know or are connected to or have an event organizing team. It's not accessible to everyone, and what Favors want to do is make sure that everyone can make their own events, quote unquote, reach their dreams, goals, and basically that's it.
Thank you so much, Aaron. You just joined the team, yeah?
Yeah, I just joined the
Is
team
it so
recently.
far?
It's really good, actually. We have quite a good communication and quite good workflow. So yeah.
Yeah, it's great team Favors. So maybe my first question is that I know that there are many options of countries, right, of where to start your business. Even like not only for foreigners, even a lot of my friends, they're Indonesian, but they decided to open their company in Hong Kong or in Singapore for whatever reason. From your perspective and maybe from your experience, what is like the main advantage of like choosing Indonesia as a country to open your business entity, be it like in blockchain or IT or maybe in general? Maybe, David? Faye? David first.
I'm Indonesian, and I actually love Indonesia. I've been across countries, and I've been actually traveled in a lot of different ones as well. But I feel like there's always that one thing that brings me back home to Indonesia, and that mainly is my family. But also, I feel more comfortable being an Indonesian citizen, trying to setting up companies here and actually understand what's going on around Indonesia, because I wanted our people to be empowered as well, and I wanted all of the Indonesian citizens to be able to leverage off of the opportunity that is available out there globally, and is actually being missed out on because of the lacking of education side of things. And so that's why I decided, I feel like Indonesia is just the right place. That's where I was born, and this is where I actually love living in. And so yeah, there isn't really many other reasons that made me wanted to just like do business here in Indonesia.
I think it should be Indonesia. If you want to be in the region, we are the largest archipelago in the world. We are the biggest country in Southeast Asia. We are the largest Muslim population in the world. We are number 4 after China, India, and US. So basically, the opportunity are there, the market is big. But we do have some challenges in terms of entrepreneurial ecosystem. We're talking about regulations, about tax, about how transparency works. But remember, we are a very young country, 77 years old. Compare it with the US, compare it with like any other European countries. And the track record is actually really, really good. In the last decade or 2 decades, our economic development is actually one of the best in the world. It's consistently, it's stable, it's 5-6% at least. It's higher than inflation. So if we say it's not safe, we have to check the numbers. The regulations itself, the way we conduct business, the way we handle corruptions and transparency, if you compare it 10, 15, 20 years ago, it's a lot better. So we have to see not where we are right now, but the progress and the percentage of how we grow. So I think Indonesia is the obvious choice. And the sun is smiling all year long. We do have talents and people working a lot, talking with governments on how to make things better. The questions I asked Wira before, we are actually currently working on it to make sure that if we want to solve the talent problem of Indonesia, remember also, only 7 years ago, our biggest unicorn, Gojek, at that time, didn't even have an app. So currently you have like all of these apps in your phone in Indonesia. 7 years ago, 2015, they didn't even have an app. So if you see it's really high growth, it's really high paced, and the government and the laws and regulations are keeping up with that. And we need to always open communications and actually bridge the needs, because like I said, you onboard someone who is not Indonesian to start a new startup, and then they directly put you into like a PMA, building a factory kind of categorizations, right? So there are things that are changing, and Indonesia is, I think, the obvious choice to be.
Who's the number 1 ambassador of Indonesia? Okay, want to add something?
Yes, I want to add. Also, want to say first that it's very interesting how this event unfolded. So first, it was planned as instead of 3 beautiful entrepreneurs from Indonesia, meant to be like 3 foreigners sitting there. Actually, the moderator meant to be me, but a few changes happened. So people were called to other places, and also. And also we had some complexity with regulators, let's put it this way, with the government authorities. So because they saw us, we wanted to talk about crypto, they didn't really want that to happen. But the event is still happening because of, I think, this team of people who decided to come together and deliver what they can deliver. And for me, I live in Indonesia. I chose Indonesia as my home 14 years ago. And the reason I did it for first people, Second, people I love Indonesian people. I love dealing with them, and they were my best employees, partners, friends. And I love climate. I'm from Russia originally, so it's much more comfortable here. And then the third reason to stay here. So first to choose and then to stay is, as Faye mentioned, it's one of the largest, the most advanced. Indonesia is becoming one of the most advanced economies, and particularly in Southeast Asia is where I see my future. And it has so many opportunities. It has such a great potential. In our presentation, we mentioned that currently the size of Indonesian digital economy maybe doesn't look that great. It's only 27 billion. But if it keeps growing with the same pace that it's growing now, then it will surpass 300 billion by 2030, meaning it's 12 times bigger than it is now in less than 8 years. So if you are fast enough, if you are quick enough, if you see this as an opportunity, this is the place to be. I don't know any other country in the world where you can see digital economy growing by 12 times in 8 years' time. So this is the place to be, this is the country to be, and that's, I'm glad that we all.
Yeah.
Thank you. So maybe we move over to the next question. Of course, there are like Faye has mentioned, and also Fazli and also David. I'll go to you in a moment. There are a lot of advantages to open a business in Indonesia, especially if you're in the IT or like blockchain industry. But then, what do you think are the barriers? There must be some barriers, especially in like developing countries. What are the barriers for either foreigners or Indonesian to open an entity, a business entity here? And if you have any advice on like to overcome those challenges, yeah.
Well, from what I've seen, my CEO navigate this. Basically, what they did was they approached a local business basically, and they made a joint venture with it. That's the most easiest and safest, and also regulatory safe. Yeah, basically that. I don't think. Do you have any other options? That's what I see favors to.
The main challenges that we actually face in Indonesia, especially with this like currently relatively new industry, is finding clarity in terms of what is actually legal and what is actually not. And there are a lot of like agents and entities out there who are also like contradicting each other, and that's why Seven Stones actually came into play, because they've actually been so valuable and helpful in terms of keeping up to date with all of the information and trying to understand the legalities around things, because I am no law background myself and doesn't understand and doesn't actually have the time to keep up with every single thing that changes and moves. And so being in this relatively new industries, there are a lot of miscommunications, there are a lot of clarities that needs to be made, and that is the value that we have been able to get from Republic Rupiah, being in partnership with Seven Stones as well, because it's hard to find which one who knows what actually is right, what actually is legal, and we wanted to do it by the book because it's a relatively new industry, and we want to make sure that we're not actually playing and stepping in anyone's toes and trying to stay in line with the law and with the enforcement stuff.
Indonesia is a jungle. It's a rich jungle, but still a jungle. So, first one is because of the bureaucracy, and then years back, it's actually not very transparent. So you come in, you are very confused, where to go, where to talk to, what to read, which rules, who you should partner with. Maybe this one is a scam, maybe that one is not. So it's not like there's a website that you can navigate yourself. So that's why community is very, very important. We are very communal, and if you check the Global Entrepreneurship Index in the world, and then you have like element of each countries. Indonesia's number like two strongest points are project innovations and networking. We are a very communal nations, right? So plug yourself into a community, and then that community actually help to guide you. Number two, we are facing a talent problem, especially when we talked about digital economy and tech. Indonesia has the lowest tech talent in key APEC countries. It's only 0.2 per 1,000 population compared to Singapore, who is 5.0 per 1,000 populations. This is why I ask, we have the concern of solving this. If we want to actually grow the economy, create more businesses, legit businesses who actually, can employ people, can turn around the economy, we need to join forces in the region, or we need to join forces with external talents too, because we don't have enough. But as soon as you onboard a non-Indonesian co-founder in your company, then it falls into a PMA, a foreign-owned company, right? So these are the things that's probably overlooked, and people are just like grumbling about it, but then they do it anyway. But if you take a look at the numbers again, how, if you actually adjust that part, how can we unlock, the potentials of like collaborating together and solve actually that talent problem together, and then create impactful, meaningful, legitimate businesses in Indonesia.
So you mentioned about like the shortage of talent before. Maybe if you can share like how, because like if we want to attract more project companies, of course, to look at Indonesia at their home, but talents and manpower play a big part of it, right? From your experiences, how did you find, what was your way to find like good, because I know that you guys are blessed with amazing teams. I've worked with you guys, and sometimes I'm amazed like how did you find such good talents? Can you just share like how did you find your team in Indonesia?
Yeah. One of the main thing was actually networking and having a community, because Republic Rupiah is actually big in Discord as well, where we actually talk about a lot of the things that we share, a lot of the education information that we give. And so we have so many people who are actually interested in learning and trying to find the information. And so we gather around in Discord, and there are actually a lot of talented people, a lot of people who knows and who has been in the industry for quite some time, who has been, doing and researching and analyzing a lot of different sector and industries in the crypto space itself. And if you actually look around, there are actually like quite a few of our team members in Republic Rupiah as well. They're all Indonesian, and they're actually from outside of Bali before we actually founded it here in Bali, because I have been living in Bali for multiple years, but there are a lot of our team members that are from Bandung, from Jogja, and he's actually working remotely as well. And so there are a lot of talented people out there. If we have a community and if we have a place for us to do networking, there are actually a lot of talented people that we can connect with and that we can find if they're actually beneficial and if they're actually helpful for the thing that we do. We have a lot of departments as well. We have a lot of researchers, we have videographers, and that is definitely not a one-man show, and that actually takes a lot of talented people. And so the suggestion and advice is probably just the community and actually do networking, because a lot of people are actually capable. It's just us trying to find them and trying to understand how we can benefit each other.
Thank you, David. Arwin?
Definitely the same way. What Favors has done is we take trusted references from trusted people, and who we obviously gather from the community. So what he said is definitely right. Depend on your community, depend on your friends, depend on your networking.
Well, I started from co-working business, right? I mean, that's how Auntie and I knew each other. So it's definitely community. I started with just like a one-person team, and then it grew. Last year we got like maybe 60 people. This year we trim it down, restructure again. It's always about like how we can add value. I feel if we know what we want to achieve, and then we start doing things just with like small number of people. Through community, through consistent programs, I think that's the best marketing for you, and people will start come. You attract who you are, right?
Yeah, I totally agree. Maybe this is more like two favors. I know your team are so diverse. Like you have, yeah, I mean, like you work with foreigners in Indonesia, and of course there are like difference, right, in like working habit and culture. Also, actually, Faye, I know your team are all Indonesian, but you deal with
Mostly women.
yes,
Women power.
Indonesian women, but you deal a lot with like foreign investor, foreign angels, VCs. So how do you overcome? If you can share, maybe how do you overcome the different in maybe like work ethics or like cultures to create a healthy working environment?
As with any relationship, you gotta communicate. That's the main answer. But it also helps to make sure that the person that you hire can communicate, is willing to communicate, and is able to communicate, because you have to be able to do it. And yeah, basically that. And also, obviously, language is a thing. Most of our foreign employers and employees, they can speak Indonesian, but some things might get lost in translation, which is why we require everyone to be able to speak English, obviously. What else? I think that's it. Communication is key, basically. Number one thing.
Okay.
You don't? I find that it is key, and if you have only communications, if your team is still quite small, that works. But as soon as it's actually bigger than 20, it's chaotic, because then everyone has different kind of communications as well. So what is good for us, I think, is that we deploy tools and ways to actually measure our performances that still allows us to be ourselves. So in Kumpul, we use OKR, so objective key results, and we know our North Star metric, and then we measure that. So every department, they have their own leads, and then we are actually very macro management. We are not micro management. So every morning we just do a sync, like a 30-minute sync about, what's to update, any emergencies, any help, any support you need. But then throughout the days, everyone knows that the indicators of every individuals need to achieve in order to actually input to the OKR. So that helps. And then also team culture. Culture is actually a set of habit that's being done by a group of people. And then you repeat it enough, you do town hall, you do that kind of sync, you do like a lunch together. So that helps to actually make certain traits and values contagious to everyone. Yeah.
Building togetherness, basically, right?
Yeah.
Contagious, I like it. Want to add?
Yeah, me as a foreigner, I can add that being Russian, we are like very straightforward people, and what I see, I did that mistakes in the beginning, but I learned very quick, and then I share that with other people. Basically, what foreigners need to do here, they need to learn how to listen, because they come to a new culture, and this culture will not change because they don't like it, or they want it to operate by their terms and conditions. I'm sorry, it won't. So you need to listen, and you need to adapt, you need to be flexible, and of course, as a leader, you need to lead, but you lead by example. You don't lead because you granted this status of being director or whoever in your company, but you lead because people want to follow you. And actually, it's a responsibility of foreigners who come to perform business in Indonesia to become great leaders and become give a good examples of being a good leader. When people want to follow them, and if people want to follow them, then it doesn't matter. Then it doesn't matter. Then all problems can be solved. And that's probably something what I learned from my 14 years doing business in Indonesia. It's like be a listener. Yes, you can tell, you can create structures, systems, but don't forget to give people chance to share what they think. And sometimes they come up with much better ideas than you have. And also, this event is a great demonstration that Indonesian people are very flexible and they can adapt to pretty much everything, and that without support of these people, and T-Hub and IT particularly, this event wouldn't happen because of a series of events that followed. So thank you so much, and thank you for Indonesian people for being who you are.
Thank you. We're amazing, aren't we?
Yeah, we are awesome. Thank you, Vasily.
Yes. Okay, so let's say that somebody wants to, let's say that after considering all of the pros and cons, they really think that Indonesia is a nice, a perfect place to open their business. What is the smart way to start? What to do first, from your experience?
Market validations, even before you start, right? Because then before you actually even invest energy and time and money and talk to people, be part of the community. So basically what you were saying before you even start, right? I think before you even started Republic Rupiah, before I even started Kumpul at that time, it started actually to be very active in the community and then sort of like listened about what kind of problems I can solve if I have this business, because business basically is just giving solutions to a problem. And if you are solving a big problem, then people will buy. As simple as that, I think. And also, I also want to challenge the my foreigner friends here, because sometimes when we come in and then we feel we really want to be part of this, but then I want to give back. And give back meaning can also actually to partner and not to teach and to coach and to be the leader. Sometimes it's also good probably to follow somebody else's leads first, just to understand where to go. And that person doesn't have to be another foreigner. That person can be Indonesian. So this is actually what I don't see enough. Because if we start talking about having a bilateral connections, then it's not just us having to learn from the Western world, but it's also the other way around.
I would agree with the market validation as well. There is actually a lot of needs here in Indonesia, especially for the Indonesian citizens as well. And that's what I've actually figured out in terms of the lack of accurate information and education, and that's why we started as Republic Rupiah. But that is actually helpful, and we were able to grow, and we were actually able to monetize and actually make the business because people are actually demanding it. And so, as she said, if people demands it and if people needs it, then you would be able to provide that solution to the problem itself. And we actually started only by 3 people, and now we have about over than a dozen of team members as well. It's about 12 to 13 members that are working in Republic Rupiah, all Indonesian, because they know that they actually have something that they can contribute on in the country, and it is the lack of education that makes them missing out on all of the opportunities out there. And so we started out small. It started out just as an entertainment. Really, we wanted to be able to break down all of the language barrier, because people needs to understand what this is, and people needs to know before all of the other global players, all of the other countries out there were actually way ahead of Indonesia. And so that's why we started out Republic Rupiah with just 3 of us. We were just making short, simple contents, and now we actually make a lot of deep dive content, a lot of advanced one as well, how to help people to understand what is actually going on with the space. And so I guess it's just finding that market validation, as you said, but also finding the right partner who actually knows legalities, and that's why we actually chose Seven Stone. Again, as I said in the beginning as well, it's hard out there trying to find clarities, and there are a lot of different people who are just outdated, as we have seen in the presentation as well. Wira said that there are a lot of outdated information out there, and so that's probably the two main thing that I would give.
Completely valid. Market validation, yes, because favors. We're an event protocol, right? Who has the mind to create a business based on event protocol? But we do it because we realize that there's actually market for it, and people are looking for ways to be able to make events. And with making events, I don't just mean musical events, parties. No, what I mean is like educational events also, because we have to realize that, especially here in Indonesia, Bali, for being an archipelago island, I think it's education is very Jawa centralized, right? Jakarta, Bandung, Surabaya, that's where everything is. When you go to Bali, even here in Bali, even though it's very maju, we're very forward. We've evolved Bali, but the rural Bali, not really. And we need to make sure that education can reach that far. And favors, as an event protocol, we provide that too. We make sure that you can make education events in rural places also. And yeah, without market validation, we wouldn't have that idea. So it's definitely first market validation, and then of course legalities, but market validation first.
Okay. So my next question would be, how old is Favors?
To be really honest, less than a year.
Less than a
Yeah,
year.
which is why my answer to culture clash is communication, because our team is like 10 people. We'll have 10 people. So yeah.
Okay, you start small, you're gonna go bigger.
Yes, hopefully.
And Rupiah has been going on for
We started in 2020.
okay,
So, when the
very
pandemic-
early.
yeah.
You're still in your early days. Kumpul has been going on for a while, yeah. 7 years, going strong. 7 years.
But we pivoted, right? I mean, 2015, 2018, and then we realized. So we always ask ourselves how we can add value to the most impact. So we always kind of like change.
Yeah.
We started as a co-working business, but then in 2018, but the main vision was actually to build entrepreneur ecosystem, the healthier one in Indonesia. So then we realized that actually if it's only workspace, it's not the pain point of Indonesian entrepreneurs. It's more about access. When we come from a big city or we have skills, we have options, we take it for granted. But actually there are so many out there, talents who are struggling to actually get access to capacity building programs, to the right mentors and people to talk to, access to funding and other things. So we pivoted in 2018 to actually work through programs, entrepreneurial programs, and then directly channel it to all the entrepreneurial hubs in Indonesia.
Okay, great. So if you maybe can share what are the partnerships that you can offer, or what kind of partnership that you're looking for? So maybe there are a lot of collaboration happen at T-Hub. So if you can share from each of you, your organization or company, what can you offer and what are you looking for? Maybe?
Well, Favors is proud to say that we do quite know a lot of people working in the background. We know a lot of people. We have a lot of connections, so we can definitely offer good networking, which is also why we started event protocol in the first place. We can offer location scouting, venues, events. What else? Target market research, things like that. Basically, information based. What kind of partnerships are we looking for? We're actually looking for someone that's willing to work together and grow together with us. I mean, we're still, less than a year old. So yeah, we're definitely looking for something, for a partner. We're looking for an actual partner. Consider it a marriage. We're looking for a marriage, to put it very simply.
Marriage.
Romantic.
We wanted more words out there about what crypto and blockchain is, and we wanted it to be like native in our native tongue, and so we actually do a lot of reviews, and so we help people understand all of these different resources out there that are in English, and trying to understand it. You would say it's like a Eli 5, explain like I'm 5, or like TLDR, too long didn't read type of format of contents. We would try to always have this applicable to every single audience and to every single community members. And we touch on every single sectors out there that are available in the crypto space. We wanted to help people understand, and we wanted to be able for them to apply this into what they do in a day-to-day basis. And so we're actually also proud to say that Republic Rupiah is in partnership with the Denpasar government as well, in making all of the different events, all of the different workshops, and a lot of different educational forums where we actually can help teach people individually, but also as a group, to be able to make them realize that there are a lot of windows of opportunities that can be opened once they are willing to learn English and to also understand what crypto and blockchain is. And so that's the general idea, the whole vision of what Republic Rupiah is. We are looking for any type of partnerships that can help us get the word out there that Indonesian can access, and that a lot of people even outside of Bali can access as well, whether that be Java or even all of the other islands as well. And so that's pretty much who we are and what we're looking for.
Thank you, David. Okay.
This year we are launching Infinite, which is focusing on startup success ecosystem. So it's not just us. Again, when I say ecosystem, meaning collaborations. So we are always on the lookout of like partners who can accelerate the growth of our businesses, the startups. And when I say like Indonesian startups, it doesn't have to be formed by Indonesians. It's just like if you're like working here, registered here, working for the audience and the communities here, it's actually counted like that. We have the Future Founders Academy for people who have skills, who've actually worked with organizations, corporations, and feel like they want to start creating something. And please join that. And we have accelerators, batches, I think like at least 2 per years. And we work with like, people like you, and then because you also run like accelerator, we are going to run maybe her accelerator this year,
For female-led
Web3 projects. We are always on the lookout on real use case of Web3 technologies into the real sectors. I think that helps to get how you call it, the understanding and the buy-in from our government more, to see really the concrete use of the new technology that they can understand in the real sector. So consciously we are hunting for those, because then that can be sort of like this showcase, that we can put up, because that's the questions asked to us about this world. Because if they understand it more, if there's a real bridge, it's going to be easier to grow, right? So we are always open to talk. Please invest also in Indonesian initiatives. We are always looking for quality angels. We are going to launch the first investors club. People who actually want to be angel investors but not really quite sure where to invest, how to invest, how do I become a good angel in Indonesia, what to see, do's and don'ts, what to see in the startups, So yeah, and then we are partnering with Seven Stones, Tokocrypto, all the ecosystem players who are crucial elements, when you want to actually grow your team, grow your business, the marketing, the product development. There's so many people who needs to get involved.
Thank you very much.
Maybe you also share with us how Tokocrypto, what kind of partnerships you're looking for, and what you can give as well.
Yeah, so actually, maybe as you know, Tokocrypto is like the first crypto exchange to be regulated by Bapapti. So we took like the transparency of the regulation very seriously. Like, so I'm very aligned actually with everyone here, including Republic Rupiah, that we want to like spread more about crypto and blockchain education. Because company as big as Tokocrypto, a lot of people come to us saying like, hey, I've been scammed, and they invest in our application without prior knowledge of what they put their money into. For instance, they're using our app. It's easy, right? You can download it, you can see the tutorial on YouTube, but what do you buy? Like, they don't understand. Yeah, my mom, my uncle asked me to invest 10 million rupiah in this coin without any understanding that the market of the crypto is very volatile and you can easily lose your money, which is like expected if you are educated. So we're always looking for a partnership to spread more, education basically about the usage of crypto. That's why I agreed to do this event as well, because the legality aspect of it is very important. Me in Bali here with T-Hub, as you can see, like we're very active in creating events. Most of it educational. We like parties too, so if you have budget to do parties with us, then let's go ahead. But yeah, any projects that want to partner in creative events, not only in T-Hub, like we want to also do spreading. We've been talking to Bali Blockchain Center in Denpasar to do more Bahasa Indonesia events. So yeah, any initiative that has the same mission and spreading the knowledge of blockchain and crypto technology in Indonesia, especially to the locals, I'll be very happy to talk to you and see how we can collaborate together, how we can push something to the regulators also. For instance, Tokocrypto has a big team of like government relations as well in Jakarta. We always need like to have brainstorm on how we can make things better for the future. Because as you can see, like maybe even like when the regulation of like how to open a company, it always changes, right? The changes we expect it to be always become better. So what we have now is not final. There are many things to complain about, of course, but it's us, the community, that need to drive it to move forward the better direction. So anyone that can work together with us to that, we'll be very happy to talk to you. What I can offer myself. But this venue is a thing. It's a big step, It's not cheap to open this hub. We always do everything for free, mostly. But this is how committed we are to bring it closer to really make changes. So yeah, this venue is available to abuse for all of your activities and events, as long as you're not selling something illegal, you're not 100% profit oriented, you want to give back. I'll be very happy to talk to you and we can arrange something together. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, so I think that's all the questions that I have actually. Before we go toward the networking session B, if you want to talk directly to Seven Stones team or to Faye, you usually run after an event, right? So people can ask questions. Do we have any questions maybe for the panelists?
Yeah, we have great panelists today from all different kind of businesses. We have startup and venture infrastructure, we have education, we have events, we have crypto, we have legal. So any question around this topic, just feel free to throw in, and then let's see what comes out. So just please welcome and ask anything you want.
Top of the class.
I'm only asking what I think the audience wants to know. I'm a mind reader. Faye, you mentioned you're looking for Web3 projects with real life use cases.
Yeah.
But you said you're also very pro blockchain and technical education for females. So those projects you mentioned, are they female focused or can be any?
No, can be anything. can be anything if it's just for kumpul to showcase. We can always talk first and then, think about, is there a dog?
Like somebody barks.
But particularly for her accelerator, it's female focused. But we are always on the hunt, let's say, to learn about the real use case of Web3 technologies. And because we talked a lot with corporations, national level, regional players, but then also particularly our government, right? So if we can already identify people who are actually doing practical use of Web3 technologies, blockchain, in particular sector, we can call it conventional sector, right? Agriculture or energy or logistic or transportations or even like investment, property investment or what, and it can also be the one from other countries, but it's good if it's actually coming from Indonesia.
Okay, good. So the Her Accelerator is not Web3 specific?
Her accelerator is Web3 specific,
Oh, it is,
but
right.
only for women.
Okay, right, okay, fine. Because I just want to share that I'm working with Unit Network and we're providing free blockchain literacy education for anyone who doesn't.
You need partnership and your microphone.
Yeah. We can sponsor a new microphone. Yeah.
Sorry. This one is done.
Yeah, so, but it's currently in English, so what I'm trying to do is encourage study groups, Bahasa study groups to come and
it's done.
review the content. It's a 6 weeks program and it's free. So my suggestion is that we organize some study groups and they can watch the content, and then in between each live broadcast, they can discuss the content and do reading together. And then secondly, to your point about real use cases, there's a second free education study in October, which is tokenization entrepreneurship. And it's not spoon feeding people, it's letting people understand what is tokenization, and then letting the study groups think themselves what ideas or what business could be relevant in Web3. So if you're interested, we can talk about that.
We can definitely collaborate on the academy part of her accelerator, because we do realize this is such a young start in the ecosystem in Indonesia. So if we jump directly to the accelerator level, we might not be able to find enough mature businesses led by women in Indonesia. We do find, but then not like, for example, if we open a batch of accelerator in May on diversity and inclusion, but Web2, almost 150 startups applied. We only took 6. But then you had options, to curate. But then that's not the case in Web3 right now. So we do have this stream of educations, because I think educations and then interacting with the community and audience are very important. The academy part, the incubator part, which is more like a one-to-many sort of educations in classroom situations, which is like what you mentioned. So let's stop.
Awesome. Good.
Thank you, Adrian. Tess. Okay. Any more questions? Oh yeah, please.
Hello, sorry, I missed most of it. That was my dog. I just was wondering, in terms of incorporation, what would be your recommendations at this point, especially if there is a complex system involved. Let's say, for example, Sweatcoin is coming out in September, and for similar projects like that, in case they work internationally, what would you suggest, and what is your knowledge in terms of incorporation and regulations, as well as in Indonesia, taxation, in crypto, marketplaces and all that?
Yeah, Seven Stones would be the best to answer this.
Where's Vira? Okay. No, it's okay. I can answer. Actually, if you registered, we can send you a presentation, the one that was on the screen in the beginning. It's answering questions.
And then the only entity which is actually the main entity here for either for local company, for foreign company, is called PT, which kind of limited liability company. And for PT PMA, it's a company with foreign investment. And then if you have even 0.0001% of foreign ownership, then it's classified as PT PMA company. And then we also shared that there is a system called OSS, Online Submission System, where there are there's a lot of information about different business activities and categories. And so this event organized in partnership with great people, but also by Seven Stones. We are the business consulting company, actually helping foreigners to navigate through the complexity of global legal environment. And yes. Sorry. It's not one single answer, because the crypto, is it crypto trading, is it crypto creating, is it like crypto ecosystem, is it blockchain ecosystem? Because here you need to, the system of Indonesia is built around KBLI codes, which is like the codes which regulate what kind of business activity you do. And then if it's software development, it's one code. If it's crypto trading, it's another code. If it's blockchain development, it's the third code. And so there are many codes which we need to look at that every code has a special requirements. It's not easy breezy, unfortunately, but it's becoming a little bit more easy breezy with us, because we can just help. So just come and reach out to our team here at the front, and then they'll look into it. If I answer it, I did my best. Oh, yeah, you can specify, but.
I particularly mentioned international projects, international cooperation, and ecosystems that are involving marketplaces with crypto and fiat onboarding.
We are not talking international business here, we are talking Indonesian business here. No, we are talking only Indonesian. It's legal aspects of starting crypto and software development company in Indonesia, only in Indonesia. We are Indonesian specific, and we're great to see people contributing to that. Thank you.
I would like to say thank you again for Faye from Kumpul, thank you David from Republic Rupiah, Arvin from Favors. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and taking your time to come here. Let's give applause again, everyone, for three of these amazing panelists, also for Fasali from every team from Seven Stones for making this together. We hope it's the first thing. Feel free to give us your feedback on how we can make this event better for the future. Because we plan to make like more of this, also to share more technical details about the aspect on opening or something. All right.
Okay.
Yes.
Can I ask? So after this, in Big Word, there's
go ahead.
Angels and Founders, run by Kumpul and Bali Investment Club. If you want to see some Indonesian startups focusing on impact, pitch, and then also, if you're interested to become part of like the Angel Network, please do come and watch. It's actually happening now at 12, so I'm gonna run over there after this.
Yeah, it's been going. This is the third event, third event. Yeah, feel free to swing by to B-Work. It's 10 minutes away from here. It's gonna be an amazing event. If you want to network and meet angels and projects, feel free to drive there after this. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in another event at the Hub. Thank you.
Thank you.